Hi friends, Melinda here. If you're new, welcome to my channel Connecting with Littles, where I love to share encouragement for young moms, young busy moms like myself. I have four little children. The oldest one just turned 6. The youngest one is 3 months old, and I love this life. But I also know it can be really tough sometimes, and that's what I want to share encouragement with other young moms. Maybe I can consider myself with 4 already I have a little bit of experience at least. Not that I'm an expert, and nor that I can. Other moms would probably have a lot more wisdom. But I want to share some of the things that I have learned with you today. My motherhood journey first of all, I'd always dreamed of being a mother. That was my dream. I want a bunch of children, it's still my dream. But there's a reality aside to it that I never seen. I guess I was the oldest in my family, but when I was 6 years old when my youngest sibling was born, and so I don't remember very much about that time. And so I had my first daughter, and then 16 months later, we had our second daughter. Now that season was really tough. The first year after my second daughter was born. It was my easiest labor, and she's been my easiest baby. I think because God knew I needed extra grace for that season. Oh, my baby sneezed. He's here beside me now. So excuse the background noise. That's another thing that I just haven't improved on mics and so on yet. But at least the older girls are all gone with their daddy today, so I get a little bit of time to try to share with you all. Yeah? You happy? Okay. Mommy will be here with you. Can you let mommy keep talking? And so, anyway, the last few months of my second pregnancy, we were building this house. It's still unfinished, but it's a lot further along than it was when we moved in. We moved in a week before my second daughter was born. The floor was rough cement. There were no interior walls. The day she was born, we were still moving the last of the things. It was a really tough time moving into this house like that. There wasn't grass outside, so it was dirty, so all the mud came in. I say that was one of my toughest mothering parts of my mothering journey. And so, what is it? What is it? He's so sweet. But I love being a mom. But anyway, that brought me to a new reality. I'd never known that it could be so hard to be a mother, and I'd always believed myself to be a capable woman. I still am a go-getter. Get up and do things, get things done. I mean, don't stop me. Don't that kind of person. So I was very surprised when the first year of having under 2 or under 1.5. For part of the time, it was so hard. And I learned something that year that I think has helped me, so that now even with 4, it's easier than it was back then. One thing makes a difference having older children. It does get easier for that part, because my oldest 2 can help a lot already. But one learns some things too, and I learned that I couldn't do it in myself. People say, "Oh, you need vitamins and nutrition." And I tried. I mean, we didn't have the resources maybe for supposedly the best ones, but we got vitamins and nutrition and tried to eat reasonably healthy. And I was still this overwhelmed, tired mom. Other people say establish good routines, and you can try for all you want to establish good routines, but when the baby's crying at nap time, there's no way to have your nap. And if you have 2 little ones under 2, it rarely will happen that they'll nap at the same time. So for that first year, I felt like I was always being called for or cried for or even climbed on. I mean, there was just no way to have time for myself. People say take time for yourself so that you can have strength for being a mother. Well, there was no time for myself. There was always always, I just couldn't. I mean, you can leave the dishes, you can leave the dirty house if you need to sleep or rest, but when a baby cries, you have to take care of your baby. And so I started searching for the answers. How do these moms do it? And there's many ways. There's experience, but there's sometimes a tough time that you have to get through. And I had to learn to depend on God. But in all that, while I was waiting for the answers, started thinking of, what did Jesus do? Does God have the answers? Did Jesus experience anything like this? And I found out that as I was thinking about the Bible and studying about the Bible, about Jesus, didn't have much time to study. But as I was thinking about Jesus' example in his life, and I thought about it, you know what? He took his disciples to pray. And a hungry, needy crowd gathered around them, and there was no praying. And that's the same thing, like sometimes as moms, we just cannot find time for our personal devotions. Doesn't mean we can't pray throughout our day or read the Bible while nursing the baby or something, but there are days when it's pretty much impossible to quiet your heart and just meditate and pray. But Jesus went to do that with his disciples, and the needy crowd surrounded them. And what did Jesus say? He said, feed them. And he helped to feed them. And then when Jesus needed to sleep one time and he was sleeping on a ship, and the disciples woke him up in the storm, he said, peace be still. It's another example of sometimes our little ones have huge storms. We want to be sleeping, and they have huge storms for them. And to us it doesn't seem like, why is it such a big deal? But they need us to say, peace be still. And so I realized Jesus had needed rest. He had needed quiet time alone. He needed what the world calls self-care, but he didn't have time for it. And instead, he found strength, I believe, in God. And that was the answer for me as a mother. That when I didn't have time for my personal devotions, when I didn't have time to sleep enough, I could find my strength somewhere else. An older mom one time said, God wants you in this needy place so that he can show his strength for you. When we are weak, he is strong. And that's my encouragement to you today. Is if you find yourself in a needy place and you just can't take the time you need for your own needs. I do agree, self-care is important for moms in a certain aspect. We need time to do things that we enjoy and rest and fill our cups up so we can give to our family. But when you don't have it, when you can't, when the baby is crying and you need to take care of the baby, oh, my baby's smiling at me. It's such a nice stage. But when they're crying, when I had two little ones crying, 1.5-year-old and a tiny baby crying for me, and the house unfinished and dirty and piling up the work and nothing even in its place yet because we had just moved, those were the times to ask God for strength and let him be the strength that we couldn't be. We can't have on our own. So my encouragement to you mamas today is, if you're facing a time like that, where you're overwhelmed and you can't take the time, where your little ones are crying for you, that you look to God, you just ask him for strength. He delights in supplying what we need, and he will give you the strength, and you will get through this. You will. It's much easier now with 4 than it was with 2 most of the time, I feel. It's still not easy, but the older ones start helping and one learns some things. Oh, now you're gonna cry. Oh, sorry. What is it? Just be happy a little bit longer, can you? A little bit longer? Anyway, find your strength in God then. And then I should be going to take care of my baby. And when you do have time for a little bit of enjoying, when you can get someone to help you a little bit, or you have a little bit of time to do something you enjoy, or to just rest, just sit there and do nothing, just breathe is sometimes all we need. Like I used to say, I didn't have time to even just breathe. Find your strength in God. And so now I should go and attend to my baby, but I wanted to share this encouragement with you mamas, and I pray that you will be encouraged, and may God bless you, and find your strength in Him, and enjoy your little ones. Till next time.